Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Russ Mitchell next hour. Both Brian Kelly and Mike Elko meeting with reporters earlier today. We'll catch up on what they had to say in about 15 minutes. Saints host the Bucs in the Dome this weekend. Greg Auman covers the NFL and has been on the Bucs beat for more than a decade there for Fox Sports. He's on Twitter at Greg Auman. Y'all give him a follow. Hey, Greg, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Hope you are too.
Doing really well. I think the big story for Tampa this week, obviously, it's a quick turnaround, right? Road game for Monday Night Football, and now the walkthrough today, and then a travel week in New Orleans. How does that turnaround, or the biggest effects on this Tampa team with that turnaround this week?
Yeah, I mean, physically, it's one of those where, if you're dinged up, you just don't have a lot of time to recover physically. So, I mean, today it's just a walkthrough. They've actually done that a couple of weeks now, where they have so many injuries, it's just easier to have a walkthrough on Wednesday. They literally have 17 people listed on an injury report today. Some of them are fairly non-crucial injuries. One of them's on there with a teeth injury, I think.
Oh, wow.
But
there it is.
Yeah, they're dinged up all over, so they're just trying to take it easy physically and get themselves. They can make it through Sunday. They got a bye week, and that'll heal a lot of these minor injuries. But there's a lot they're dealing with. Right
There's
now.
Teddy Bridgewater. Teeth. It's new. It's a new one to me. He's on there
right?
with the teeth injury, not tooth. Teeth, multiple.
I think sometimes that's as simple as like had to have a procedure done, and as a result wasn't able to go out there and risk injury, basically. But I would think he's okay.
Greg, let's talk about the impact, though, of a really significant one, which is no Mike Evans. I know he's been injured for a chunk of the season already, but what is the effect on the offense with no Mike Evans?
It's big, and like you said, they've gone without Mike for spells at times, 3-4 games here and there, but this is at least 2 months without him. So, they've already dealt with injuries. Chris Godwin's been hurt. Jalen McMillan's been hurt. Puts even more on Emeka Egbuka, who's been a really good rookie for them, probably their best receiver this season. But, Mike's a guy that, defenses are going to account for on every play. And it's going to make other guys' lives easier by making them have single coverage. So that stinks. I mean, the Bucs really struggled to really move the ball downfield a lot against a really good Lions defense on Monday night. They'll have to adjust. And, I mean, for them, I think they certainly hope that at some point after the bye, they'll get Chris Godwin. At some point in December, they could get Jalen McMillan. But they're shorthanded. I mean, their depth was really good this season, but they're counting on rookies to play a ton. And as a result, it's going to hurt the offense.
Greg, Baker's in his third season there in Tampa, and I know you've had to talk a ton about him this year, and rightfully so. He, as good as he's been winning the division a couple times, this is different. I mean, he's MVP frontrunner different right now. So what's different?
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job of cutting back on turnovers. I mean, last year, he's prolific season last year. Had 4,500 yards, had 41 touchdowns, probably the best non-Tom Brady quarterback season in Bucs history. Yeah. But also had 16 interceptions and was tied to the NFL lead. So I think that's always kind of mitigated the good things he did. But this year, to his credit, had a pick on Monday night. Really wasn't his fault. Went off a player's hand. It was kind of a dual possession type situation. And that's his second interception in 7 games, throwing the ball a decent amount. So I think he's done a really good job of getting better there. Obviously, I think the main reason people are talking about him for a potential MVP is that, he's won 4 games in the final minute, which is crazy. He's just been lights out in tight games, able to make throws to either get in the end zone or set up field goals to win. I think they would have rather avoided some of that drama, but for whatever reason, he's been able to pull them through a lot of really close finishes already this season.
Is there a glaring weakness offensively?
Offensively, they're not nearly as good a running team. They were a top 5 run offense last year, and they're not. They're probably closer to like 20th right now. Their right side of their offensive line is missing 2 starters, so there's backups in there. They're missing their leading rusher from last year in Bucky Irving. And again, it's just the receivers. What the Saints will see on Sunday is no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, no Jalen McMillan. So you're talking about, your top 2 receivers are probably rookies in Emeka Egbuka and a 7th rounder in Tez Johnson. Baker's been able to get by with a limited cast and still win. This is probably a game they can feel confident going into, even shorthanded. But there's some alchemy involved in finding 28 points out of backups and a patchwork offensive line as they have.
He's Greg Auman, Fox Sports, on Twitter at Greg Auman. You can give him a follow there. Greg, defensively, is obviously we all know Todd Bowles, his background as a defensive-minded coach. The Bucs are bottom half of the league in scoring defense right now. To what would you attribute that so far through 7 games?
Yeah, I think they've been uneven on defense. For a while they weren't getting takeaways. They've gotten a couple of those. They had 3 on Monday. The middle of their defense has still kind of been problematic. They've struggled against running backs in the past game. I think they're dead last in the NFL in terms of yards allowed to running backs. Their red zone defense was a real struggle. That was one of their best things a year ago. And then at one point, they'd given up 10 straight touchdowns on red zone trips. So there's lots of things they can kind of push through. They're playing without Kalijah Cansey, who's probably their second-best defensive lineman. But they're healthy in the secondary now. They had all their corners, all their safeties at their disposal against the Lions and still kind of struggled with some things. So it's one of those where obviously Todd Bowles has a complex and intricate defense that's complex enough that it confuses his own players sometimes. And that's something they're still kind of working through the kinks on.
A couple more for you, Greg. The Saints have been awful in the third phase this year. I think that's just objectively true for anyone who's watched this team. They've been not good on special teams. If this is a close game, how are the Bucs in that third phase so far this year?
Very uneven as well. They've had 2 They've had 2 punts blocked. They've had a field goal blocked. They've had 2 long kickoff returns to midfield. So there are concerns there. I would say it's another vulnerability for them. I think the last 3 games they've kind of pushed through and haven't had issues with the punt blocks that they had earlier. But they have a punt block. They've had 2 kicks blocked for touchdowns. So when you think about their overall defensive numbers, anytime you have that big an impact of special teams on your defense, it's not right. So I think returns are dangerous in that stadium. You got to be careful there. The problem with the injuries on offense and defense is that pushes guys into bigger roles and takes them off special teams. So Hassan Reddick is injured this week and won't play. And as a result, is getting Anthony Nelson, who's normally like a 15 play on defense type sub and literally plays on every snap on special teams. Now he's probably a 40 snap guy on defense. So you're taking your best player on your coverage unit and probably making him a half every other play special teams player. So that makes them all the more vulnerable in kickoff coverage to giving up a big one because the guys that are, best suited to help you there are busier on defense.
They're going to wear the Bucco Bruce uniforms this weekend?
I don't think so. They've worn it twice already, and they got the Falcons game earmarked in December for it. I don't think there'll be a surprise throwback, but you never know.
All right. If there is a blueprint for Todd Bowles to get it, with division games there's always a degree of unpredictability because of the familiarity. What's the blueprint for Todd Bowles this weekend?
Get up early, get the crowd out of it. If you remember a year ago in New Orleans, that was the weird game where Sean Tucker, their backup running back, went for 192 yards. It was like NFC Player of the Week. I think he barely has 190 yards since then. But again, if they get a lead, if they get a lead, they're going to give him the ball, knowing it's the same Saints run defense, and he might have a big day. I think the goal for them is to not have dramatics and not have Baker Mayfield dropping back 50 times like he did on Monday, and get healthy and get through the bye and escape New Orleans with a win, however they get that. If they win by 29 or they win by 2, they're going to be happy if it's just a win right now.
Yeah, that was the 51-27 game where they cranked up the defensive intensity in that second half and made Spencer Rattler's life miserable. But we'll see how it all plays out. Greg Auman, Fox Sports, at Greg Auman on Twitter is where you can get him, AUMAN. Greg, we always appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks again. Have a good week.
Yep, it's our pleasure. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. If you are getting down to the Dome this weekend, make sure before your tailgate you get by Rouse's, rouses.com, rouses.com, so we find all the specials or whatever you may need for your tailgate, your home gate, your game watch to be perfect. Our friends over at Rouse's, they've got you covered, rouses.com, rouses.com. Hey, I want to remind you also, if you're in Baton Rouge, this Thursday, October the 30th, no, forgive me, next Thursday, not this Thursday, next Thursday, October the 30th, from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Rouse's at Burbank and Lee, you can meet Harold Perkins and get a free signed player card courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Rouse's. Again, that's coming up a week from Thursday, a week from tomorrow, October the 30th, 6 to 7 p.m. Harold Perkins will be there taking pictures, signing autographs at the Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. Mark the calendars, bring out the kids. Be a really great opportunity to meet number 7 at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We appreciate Greg for making a couple of minutes for us. Both Brian Kelly and Mike Elko and all the SEC coaches were on the SEC Coaches teleconference earlier today, kind of giving updates on their preparation for the Tigers and the Aggies. We'll get to that here in just a smidge. Also, Brian Kelly notably mentioned that and confirmed that Aston Stamps is no longer a part of the LSU football program. So I want to react to that and give you a little bit of some context around that, what it means for the cornerback spot for LSU moving forward next year and beyond. We'll dive into that as we continue here on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Really excited about this as well. I don't know if I'm supposed to spill the beans on this, but we are going to be at Gordon's office on December the 11th. That's when they're going to be doing the bicycle giveaway. So I know there's going to be more information coming up on that here in the days and weeks. But you know, one of the reasons I love telling you about and love being partnered with Gordon is there's so many ways that Gordon gives back to the community. Just this morning, getting ready, and Eric had the TV on, and we saw the ad for Pat's Coach for Kids. Of course, Pat Shingleton, thing that Pat's done for 4 decades, and Gordon's been a great sponsor. Another sponsoring again this year, helping make sure that all children in our area have a warm coat during the cold weather months. So many ways that Gordon gives back to our communities. We love to be a small part of that. Join with them as well. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Our guys are certainly in a position now to do something great here at Tiger Stadium, that is, beat the number 3 team in the country. So, our focus is squarely on doing that for 4 quarters. Practiced yesterday, loved our energy and enthusiasm, and now you got to go do it. But I'm really pleased with the mindset of our team and the opportunity that lies in front of them.
Brian Kelly getting his team ready to take on Texas A&M this weekend in Tiger Stadium. Tigers are inside of a field goal underdog, so stinky line when you look at it. The way LSU's played offensively, Texas A&M 7-0, undefeated, number 3 in the country. You would figure they'd be a more sizable favorite in this game, but sometimes the folks in the desert, they know something. What we know now is that the Aston Stamps won't play for LSU this weekend against Texas A&M, and he actually won't play for LSU at all anymore. Brian Kelly was asked about the junior cornerback on his SEC Coaches teleconference on Wednesday morning.
report out there this morning that Aston Stamps, he left the team, I believe. Is that something that you can confirm?
Yeah, he is no longer on the roster.
Nothing more there from Kelly other than confirming that Stamps is, in fact, no longer with LSU. And, in his 3 years with the Tigers, really, you look at this year, he's played in 3 games for LSU. So he'd only have one more that he could play in to maintain his year of eligibility should he transfer and want to use that. But prior to this season, Aston Stamps had played in 24 games with 17 starts. He was your most experienced returning cornerback this year. And what's so interesting about Stamps also is not just that he had played in 27 games. Remember, 23, the Jaden Heisman year, the worst defense statistically in the history of the program. Stamps started 4 times as a true freshman that year. They were just trying things to find anything that might work. And then last year, he played and started all 13 games and led the SEC. He led the SEC. He led the SEC with 14 PBUs. Remember, you had Zy Alexander, and teams looked and were like, well, Zy's good, let's throw at the other guy. So they consistently threw at Stamps, and he came away with 14 PBUs. No interceptions, but he led the league in pass breakups. So a guy that had played in 24 games coming into this year, it was pretty logical, and started all 13 last season. It was logical to assume that Stamps was going to be a starter on this team. And you brought in DJ Pickett, 5-star number 1 corner in the country, and you went and got Mansour Delane out of the transfer portal. And so how that rotation was going to go was going to be interesting. We all assumed Stamps was going to be there and play a lot. Well, what happened throughout fall camp, which was very notable as you got closer to the season, was P.J. Woodland came on. And I think Woodland's emergence is really the differentiator that pushed Stamps to the sideline here. And it's interesting because after the Clemson game, and Stamps didn't play against Clemson. And at the time, it's easy to think now with the benefit of 7-game hindsight and the fact that he hasn't played now, he's leaving the program. But remember, he started every game a year ago, was rotating with the ones in fall camp, and then you get to the game against Clemson on the road, veteran team, all that stuff, a couple of preseason first-team All-ACC, receivers, all the stuff at Clemson. And your most veteran cornerback doesn't see the field, and it makes you go, wait a minute, what's going on? And I remember I asked Brian Kelly about that on the Monday after Clemson. This is what he said.
We're going to play the guys that, obviously give us the best chance to win. And he's a really good player. There's no doubt. But, when you talk about the rotation right now, the rotation was what we played on Saturday. But Ashton's got to stay ready. He knows that. This is a long season. We have great confidence in him and his ability to go out there and play at a high level for us.
That told you right there from jump. That told you right there that this wasn't some discipline or anything that went wrong. He got beat. He got beat out. Mansour Delane has been arguably the best cornerback in America. He's on the short list. I can't tell you I've seen every snap of every corner that's played in college football, obviously, but you're seeing mock drafts that have him Delane as a top 15 pick in the draft, and he might be. On the broadcast this last weekend, Jesse Palmer was saying that he believed Delane is the best cornerback he's seen in college football this year. So that's an obvious one. And then DJ Pickett is a 5-star who continues to emerge, and every opportunity he gets, he flashes. Just an incredible ceiling. And then P.J. Woodland is the other guy that's come along. And so when you look at that rotation, so far this season for LSU, Mansour Delane has played 397 snaps. P.J. Woodland has played 313 snaps. And DJ Pickett's played 213. After that, Jakeem Jackson, 25. Michael Turner, 24. Stamps played 18 snaps. Wallace Foster's got 1 snap. Aiden Anding, 1 snap. You see the point? It's all to say, they identified their rotation, who their 3 best guys are. And Stamps' only path to the field this year was going to be injury, which nobody wants to see, obviously. But that was going to be his path. And so Stamps has made the decision now to leave. And so there's a couple of things here. Number one, the Pickett and Delane things are pretty obvious. Pickett's a 5-star, number 1 corner. He's a freak. He's a pterodactyl. He's 6'5", who runs like a deer. God just didn't make many dudes like that. And Delane is maybe the best corner in the country. Woodland taking reps from Stamps is the one that you look and go, wow. And that's where you look at Corey Raymond and you tip your cap. Because if you remember, P.J. Woodland was a guy that, when he was recruited, was a 3-star and wasn't necessarily the guy at the top of people's boards. When he was coming out of Mississippi, when he signed with LSU out of Oak Grove and Hattiesburg, P.J. Woodland, I'm looking at his recruiting profile right now, was a 3-star, ranked number 506 in the country. I'll pull it up for you, Paul, if you want to, just so you know I ain't lying. There's his recruiting profile. 3-star, number 506 in the country, the number 53 cornerback, the 17th best player in the state of Mississippi. And Corey Raymond did what Corey Raymond does. He looked at a dude, liked the skill set, liked the mentality, and said, I can do something with that. And here you are now with P.J. Woodland as a second-year player who's forced an older guy in Aston Stamps out of the rotation and now out of the program. Anybody who has any lingering questions still about Corey Raymond, I don't know if y'all still do, but y'all know who you are. I mean, I can go get receipts on Twitter. I don't think I need to, but a lot of y'all, the Corey Raymond doesn't recruit, Corey Raymond doesn't develop, those people from a few years back, I don't hear none from y'all anymore. You keep churning out 5-stars and all, whatever. I don't need to belabor the point. You get it. But Woodland is great validation that Corey Raymond knows what he's looking for and knows how to develop cornerbacks, and you're going to be really good at that spot like you were for a long time under Corey Raymond. That's one. The other piece of this is, what does your cornerback room look like in 2026? Because now Stamps is gone and Monster Delane's gone pro. So you'll have Pickett and Woodland. Like, you'll have those two guys next year. After that is where you have the big question. And that's where two things come into play. Number one, it's what we just talked about with Corey Raymond's ability to develop, because you got young guys. Look, Jakeem Jackson transferred in, and assuming he stays, he could develop. He could be that number 3. We'll see. Jakeem Jackson was a highly regarded guy that signed with Raymond at Florida, was a starter at Florida a year ago, got injured at the beginning of the season and missed the remainder of the season and transferred to LSU, but is just caught in that logjam right now. But Jakeem Jackson's a possibility, but then you've got young guys like Michael Turner and Wallace Foster and Aiden Anding, and then you'll have the 2026 guys coming in as well. So is there another young guy that could emerge and be part of that conversation potentially in 2026? Or, obviously, the other part of that is, do you go back into the transfer portal and look at trying to find another Monster Delane? Now, I don't know if you're finding another Delane, per se, the number one corner in the portal, but maybe. And remember, you've also got Haven Finney committed for the class of 2026. He was the number one corner for 2027 who reclassed, so he'll be entering LSU a year early out of LA, and he's a long-rangey dude, 6'2", 170. He fits the mold of what Corey likes. But all that to say, Aston Stamps leaving as a guy who had started 17 games, played in 24 games, and led the SEC in pass breakups a year ago, and then is out, is a great illustration of how much you've increased your talent and development at that position. And you should be really optimistic about the defensive backfield moving forward because of this. Would you love Aston Stamps to stay? Of course. Louisiana guy, has been in your program for 3 years, has been a starter, a lot of experience, he's been on the road in the league, all that stuff. But the fact that he is leaving, the fact that he got pushed down the depth chart, illustrates how much you've improved your talent at that position. So wish Aston Stamps all the best in whatever is next for him in his football career. But also, rest assured, LSU's secondary, in particular at corner, is in really good shape moving forward with Pickett, Woodland, Haven Finney coming behind him, some of the young guys on the roster right now. We'll continue to watch how it all develops, but I wish Aston Stamps luck as he's done as an LSU Tiger. All right, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Hey, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, you know the drill. Go to southpointvw.com. And remember, if you're in Lafayette, Southwest Volkswagen, same great ownership group, Southwest Volkswagen is there in Lafayette, however. But whatever vehicle that you're looking for on the lot, it's online. SouthPointVW.com. 2025 Atlas 1.9%, 2025 Crossport $2,500 customer bonus or 2.9% APR for 60 months. About 5 years financing. Y'all, whatever type of vehicle you're looking for, sedan, the compact SUV, the full-size SUV like the Atlas, they got you covered. Or something really fun like the ID Buzz. It's the all-electric Volkswagen bus. The ID Buzz. Check it out. They got them at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, y'all, we're halfway home on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm glad to have you hanging out with us here. I want to knock out a break. When we come back, there is, as we approach the trade deadline, there is some buzz about the New Orleans Saints being active in the trade market and maybe sending some players out. So we'll look at who those possibilities are that the Saints could trade. We'll do that when we come back. Also, Russ Mitchell in 45 minutes from right now. Recap the weekend that was. We'll look ahead. Yes, I owe Russ dinner at Supper Club. We had a wager last week, straight up, on the LSU Vanderbilt game. He had Vandy. I had LSU. Loser had to buy dinner at Supper Club. So I owe Russ dinner. No doubt he will come here and gloat. He's earned that right. And I will make good on the bet because I'm not Dwayne from Thibodeau. I'm not a yellow-bellied coward who runs away from bets that you lose. You make bets. You be a man. You own up to it. And I'll do that with Russ coming up in hour 3. So don't you move. Stay with us here. It's AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness.
After further review.
All right, y'all. We are inching closer to those cold weather months. Low of 59 degrees today in Baton Rouge. We're getting closer to the time when you're going to crank up that Home Central heater. Y'all, before you do, before the weather gets cold, before you flip that heater on for the first time, some of you may have already done it. You know who you are. But before you do, call River City's 1 Hour Air for the preseason heater safety check. Mention the show. Mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $30 off the price. You'll see that big yellow van or truck come to your house, the giant clock on the side. You see them all over your neighborhood, all over town. Your friends and neighbors trust River City's 1 Hour Air just like I do. But before you crank on that heater, make sure it's clean, efficient, and safe to operate during the cold weather months. The preseason heater safety check from River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Everybody, pretty much we got it. We're in good spirits, good health. We had a good solid day of practice. Just tightening the screws on some of our details. Working on some of our concepts on both ends of the floor. It's going to be a good game for us. It's a good opponent. So we're looking forward to it.
Pelicans open their season. Yeah, you're right! In Memphis. Merry Christmas, everybody. Muse, Merry Christmas. Paulie, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Where's
guy.
my Christmas music?
I have to get it. I didn't know you were going Christmas on it there.
Oh, no, we don't talk about the NBA with it being Christmas before Christmas, right? We never do that?
Correct.
Muse, come on, man. There it is.
Some unlicensed Christmas music for you. How about that?
It'll do. It'll have to.
We'll have to.
Since you're just mailing it in over there, Muse.
I'm mailing it in. I had it one click away.
Mm-hmm.
Merry Christmas, guy. Let's go. Flock up. Zion, he's healthy.
For now.
It's a Christmas miracle.
For now. Christmas Eve last night. I was watching some NBA. Double overtime.
How about that?
With OKC and the Rockets. Otter hit. Fade the champs on opening night. Tell you, I was worried when it went to overtime. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's 6.5 not going to hold. It did. It did. Pelicans tonight, Christmas Day. Forgot to shop for Erica. Don't tell her.
A little late now.
Yeah, she's not. She only listens if Ryan's on, talking about Taylor Swift, her picks, all that sort of stuff. She ain't listening. I don't know, man. What's the Pelicans' projected win total? Have you looked at it at all this year?
I've not. I've not. Let's pull that up here real quick. Pelly's win total.
Memphis is a 4.5-point favorite tonight in the ball game. I don't have a whole lot of confidence. I just refuse to allow myself to be bamboozled, swindled again. DeJounte Murray's still out, obviously, from the injury he suffered a year ago.
Present.
Yeah. There's that. Memphis was 48-34 overall a year ago. 26-15 at home. Pellies were 21-61. Worst season, tied the worst season during their time, or tied the second to worst season during their time in New Orleans. Yeah. I'm just not going to let myself get excited. I'm going to watch. I'll be watching. And I'll be hopeful. I just can't allow myself to believe they're going to be good when I've walked that road so many times. I can't allow myself to believe this is the year that Zion stays healthy and all that stuff. I'd love to be proven wrong, and I'll watch because I love the team and I enjoy the NBA. But I don't have anything good to tell you. Did you find the win total?
I'm having to do it on my phone because DraftKings is blocked on this computer for some reason. I have to talk to Bellwether about that.
So the answer is no.
Answer is no for now. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Let's move on. See if you can find it, get it to me eventually, and you can kill that awful whatever that was. That was just something.
The unlicensed Christmas music.
I never want to hear that again on the show. Deal?
Deal.
All right. Pelicans play tonight against Memphis, 7 o'clock on Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network, which, by the way, is where you can watch Locked on LSU every single day. They televise Locked on Saints, Pels, LSU, and SEC. So if you have GSEN, GCSEN, Gulf Coast Sports Entertainment Network, you can watch Locked on LSU every day. And if you're not subscribed, I would love it if you did, podcast or YouTube. It's my podcast I do, part of the Locked On Podcast Network every single day, talking LSU for about 27 minutes. So check it out. Locked on LSU, your team every day. I'd appreciate a sub on a podcast or YouTube. Candidly, podcast helps me more, but both are great, whichever you prefer. Did you find it?
Yes, 30.5.
Oh.
Over under.
30.5.
30.5. Look, if you want some positivity, ESPN BPI, I guess that'd be, projects them at 32.6. Take the over, question mark.
30.5.
30.5.
30.5?
Yeah, it's 30.5. Not the worst in the Western Conference.
So they traded BI late last year, obviously, and DeJounte Murray's out.
Murray, present.
Zion's healthy. Trey, Jose. It got to do better than 30.5, right? I mean, they got to find their way to 40. They got to find their way to 40 wins. I get it. That's 500. That puts you right there in the mix of all the play-in tournament. This is way too much NBA talk for Christmas Day. But if you're not familiar, we refuse to talk about the NBA before Christmas. I believe the NBA season should start on Christmas Day and should run through July, when the only thing going on in July is Major League Baseball. That should be when the NBA finals are happening and the rest of the postseason. I think it's just a total miss by the NBA to start their season while the NFL is going on and while college football is in the middle of conference races. It's just a total miss not to just back it up a month, 6 weeks, and have your season go through July. But whatever. They can do what they want. They're way smarter than me. All right, it's After Further Review. We are brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Speaking of holidays, my buddy Martin over at Shaw Bills texted me. They have a great deal going on through the end of this month. So through the end of October, so through Halloween, you can get over $200. The exact number is $278 off a set of 4 new Michelin tires. With mail-in rebate, if you use Shawbill's credit card, you get free insulation, which is a $118 value. I tell you all the time, they work hard to combine the in-house offer with the manufacturer offer to get you the best price possible on the best tires on the road. So you want the best tires at the cheapest price, Shawbill's will make it happen. They guarantee it. It's part of the Charlie's Dozen, the price match guarantee. If you find tires, you buy tires at Shawbill's, you find them advertised somewhere else cheaper, they'll refund you 125% of the difference. It's Shawbill's. ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbill's, where we keep you rolling. The New Orleans Saints, as we approach the NFL trade deadline early next month, are a team that is likely to be involved in a lot of these conversations. As a matter of fact, Kat Terrell over at ESPN has a report today that Chris Olave and the Saints are in the midst of clear contract talks, despite a lot of the trade rumors. And there is a piece up that this is Matt Bowen and Jeremy Fowler have ranked the top players in the NFL that could be on the trading block. Trey Hendrickson 1, Jalen Waddle, Breece Hall 3, Rick Woolen 4, Jacoby Myers 5, Mark Andrews 6, and then number 7 on the list is Saints wide receiver Chris Olave. So the Saints at 1-6, could they possibly move on when you're talking about an organization that has a UDFA and Rashid Shaheed that they signed to a 1-year deal? Obviously this year, Rashid Shaheed coming off a season-ending injury as well. Olave, former first-round pick. You picked up the 5th-year option with the concussion history. Don't know that many believe that he's a true number 1. But if he wants to be paid like a 1, that's something the Saints are going to have to decide. What is the cap you're willing to spend on Olave? And does he choose to hit free agency after next season? Or does he bet on himself now and take a deal? Or does he take the bird in hand? That'll be interesting to see. If I'm New Orleans, I do not believe Chris Olave is a number 1. I would not pay him as such. And if someone wants to give me an asset, I would gladly trade Chris Olave for an asset looking into next year, knowing you could re-sign Rashid Shaheed. You traded for Devon Vele as well. And remember, you traded for Jalen Polk. He's on IR, so he's out of this season. But that was a first-round talent who you'll have as part of your rotation next year. You could always go into the draft and get help there. I would trade Chris Olave provided you get the right offer for him. He's number 7 overall. Number 9 overall, they have Alontae Taylor. And they note this would be a surprise, but one to watch. The Saints don't want to trade him, but if they get a strong enough offer, that maybe they would. Taylor is interesting to me because Alontae Taylor, what's been proven is he is not a boundary corner. We know that. He had, because of injury last year, and after you traded Lattimore, the injury to Adebo, he was forced into playing boundary corner, and he was atrocious. He is a nickel. He is a safety. That's what Alontae Taylor is. So you drafted Kool-Aid. You drafted Quincy Riley. What are you willing to pay Alontae to be a nickel? And he's likely not going to play safety for you after you drafted Jonas Sanker. So is there someone willing to give you maybe a day 2 pick or an early day 3 pick for Alontae Taylor? I would be inclined to take that, to get younger and less expensive instead of paying Alontae Taylor what you'd have to pay him on that second contract. Again, this is about right now for New Orleans getting younger and getting more affordable. Getting out of cap hell, as we've talked about, getting more in line with a reasonable salary cap situation, and doing so by getting younger with draft assets. The Saints just historically have not respected their draft assets. Here's an opportunity to do that. The one other, they have a list of honorable mentions. They have Pete Werner on there as well. And listen, it's no surprise. I mean, they're playing Danny Stutzman. They're playing Isaiah Stallbird. You're seeing Werner take less snaps. It could be that they're looking to the future, and Werner could be someone they look at and say, you can get an asset for him let's see what you have with the young players at linebacker. So just a few of the names worth keeping an eye on, according to ESPN, that the Saints could have on the trading block here coming up in the next week and a half or so. All right, it's after further review. We knock out our final break of hour number 2. Russ Mitchell's here in 30 minutes. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros next.
After further review.
Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Love telling you about all the many different services that they offer that help you feel your best. Yes, at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, they have ED treatments. If you're a man suffering from ED, they can help. Lots of different treatments. Contact them. They'll help you through it. Hormone replacement therapy is something I talk about all the time. It can be truly life-changing. Safely, affordably supplementing to get you to healthy hormone levels to help you feel better like you did when you were younger. Waking energy, build muscle, burn fat, better libido, all the things that having healthy hormone levels contribute. And then also the many different non-pharmaceutical options to help with things like recovery, muscle repair, anxiety, gut health. There's so many ways that you could feel your best, and Goodwood can help you do it. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Glad you're with us. A Saints-Bucs injury report is out. We'll get to that here right after the top of the hour. And a full half hour of SEC football talk with Russ Mitchell coming up here in hour number 3. But right now, Muso has Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we have an update on Jaden Daniels and his hamstring. Not good news. Daniels will be out Monday night when the Commanders head down, to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. It's a low-grade hamstring strain. You'll remember that. He underwent the MRI.
Who are the chefs?
He underwent the MRI on Monday. No long-term damage, but he will at least miss this week. That's a significant blow. Marcus Mariota will start in his place against the Chiefs. Did you see the AFC Players of the Week?
Nope.
Not one, not two,
not three,
but 3
not 4.
LSU Tigers.
Not 5.
They swept the awards.
Not 6.
Jamar Chase.
Not 7.
Offensive Player of the Week in the AFC. Single game franchise record, 16 receptions, 161 yards and a touchdown. His second career game with 15 or more catches and 150 receiving yards. This is also his 5th career Player of the Week, which ties him with Patrick Peterson as the second most for an LSU player in history. Joe Burrow, obviously, next. Kayvon Chason, Defensive Player of the Week. The 3 tackles, 2 sacks, including a forced fumble and a scoop and score in the win over the Tennessee Titans. And then Grant Delpit, Special Teams Player of the Week. 2 special team stops, including a forced fumble in the Browns' win over the Dolphins. Delpit was the only player to force a fumble on special teams in Week 7 in the NFL. Congratulations to all 3 of those guys. A sweep. How about that? That's pretty impressive. The Houston Rockets were in action a night ago, which means Tari Eason got some pretty good run. 22 minutes off the bench. Not great offensively, just 3 points. It was a 3-ball. He did grab 6 rebounds as well in the game. And, of course, the Rockets fell in double overtime to the defending champion Thunder by 1 point. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question, we're getting close. We're getting closer to Christmas. We're getting closer to the holiday season. It's about the time of year. A lot of you Cupids out there, fancy your little Romeos. You fancy yourself as being romantic. If you're going to pop the question, thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. No matter what your budget is, they have a beautiful diamond that'll match your budget. And no matter your budget, you're always going to get the Lee Michaels experience. It's what they have specialized in for 4 decades, making you feel comfortable and thrilled with your purchase. Get it? We don't always buy jewelry. We don't. We don't buy jewelry all the time. So you walk in, you want to feel comfortable, like you're going to be thrilled with your purchase. You're comfortable. Lee Michaels does a great job of that. They call it the Lee Michaels experience. So If you want to schedule a time, you can do that at the website. You scroll down. You can book an appointment. When you go to the main page at lmfj.com, scroll down. There's a book an appointment tab. So if you want to meet with one of their associates, schedule a time, you can do that. Or you can always just walk in to Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 10 locations in all. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, let's after further review. I'll put a button here on hour number 2. We'll get you caught up on SportsCenter in just a quick second. Great news for LSU baseball today. Tony Vitello, if you haven't heard yet, he is taking the San Francisco Giants job. So Vitello, Tony V, out in Knoxville. And then there's also a report that Kevin O'Sullivan, the head coach of the Florida Gators, is taking an indefinite leave of absence from the Florida baseball program for personal reasons. No more information given. Maybe they just keep watching Jay Johnson hang banners and they're like, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Fine by me. Now all you need is for a dude up in Arkansas to take a walk. That's about it. Van Horn, see ya. How much longer he'll coach? No. In any event. All right, y'all. It's after further review. We'll keep you posted on all that as it develops. You can email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. We do have Russ Mitchell coming up in 20 minutes from right now. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Sit Tight Sports Center is coming up. We get you caught up on national headlines. Hour 3 is next.
AFR.
If you want to ditch your contacts, readers forever, Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. 924-2020, that's the number to call to schedule your consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. Better results, faster recovery, new options for people who've been told, maybe you're told your whole life you're not a candidate for LASIK. Maybe it's Evo ICL, or it's PRK, or it's the custom lens replacement. They have an option for you. No matter your age or your refractive issue, the Williamson Eye Center can help. And because we're nearing the end of the year, remember, your FSA or your HSA benefits may be about to expire. Do not let them go to waste. Turn it into something life-changing. Call the Williamson Eye Center for a free consultation. You can even do that consultation virtually if you want. 924-2020, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com.